Well, hello. Now we are going to make this roundtable talking about the Zamorano rules and what the students think about this topic. Well, in this roundtable we have representatives of teachers from first, second, and third year. And now some topics that students have talking about is are some like it's about the hours of sleep, all the Zamorano rules, the importance of these rules, and also one important point is the bullying that nowadays have a high impact in Zamorano students from first and the other years. Well, now my partners are going to give their point of view of each question or each topic. Well, the first question is, what do you consider important for Zamorano students to have the enough hours of sleep? What do you think?
So my opinion is that every student in the university should have at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep every day, because that's the enough hours we need to have an excellent development in all our classes and the entire activities that we do every day. And if we don't sleep enough time, we are going to fall asleep at class and will not pay attention, and the result of those actions will be low grades in every class and the decrease of our average in general.
I think that the work that we do in Zamorano is very hard, and it requires a lot of rest because of the hard work. As I said, it's not like a normal university that you go to class and you go to your house and you sleep and that's all. We go to classes, we work, we have to do different things, like I don't know, like being under the sun like for 4 hours every day. So we need enough time to rest for our body to be okay.
Yes, it's important the hours sleep, but in some of the surveys that we did, we found many people that say that they don't. Well, they approve the 7 or 8 hours sleep, but sometimes they say that they need more time to study, and they put those hours, and sometimes they just sleep like 5 or 4 hours. What do you think about it?
I think that the limit of hours of study shouldn't be limited, because I mean sometimes 11 o'clock at night isn't enough for you to study. I mean, you can sacrifice some of those hours of sleep to study in some days. I mean, people want to study every day till 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. But if they have to, some days they should be. I mean, they should have the permission to continue to study.
Well, respect to this topic, what do you think if it's important to make a check when you are going to continue studying after 10 p.m.?
No, because maybe that's unnecessary. we could we could just sleep 1 hour and then wake up and continue studying. I think that's not a good idea.
Okay. Any other opinion?
I think that this rule is unnecessary because it doesn't. You don't have to give account of at what time you have to sleep. It's just because. This, it doesn't harm anybody that you mark or doesn't mark if you continue studying about 10 p.m.
Okay. So, well, now I think, well, any other topic about the Zamorano rules? As we know, there is a high impact, as I said, is the bullying. Do you think that bullying, the rules that the Zamorano is implement here in Zamorano are very strict or is out of the context?
I think sometimes the rules are too strict because they try to confuse when you do something by yourself and when the people of all the years tell you to do it. So how they are going to know if you're doing it by yourself or by the bullying they could do to you? They don't really know. And they sometimes confuse it, and you could get punished for it. And even if you're just doing it by yourself, and if you want to do the things that they ask for you, you could do favors to everybody if you want to. But if you don't, you just don't do it, and they confuse it with bullying, and that they think that the other people want you to do it, and you do it obligated.
Okay. It's important to know about that topic, especially from a first year student. And what the other students from other years think about, especially if you want to make a friends from first year and it's restricted and very restricted to be inside of the room of a first year student.
Okay, I think it's a really hard decisions for the authorities in the university to do on this year because those things that are being confused with bullying a lot of years ago have been taught or had been seen here in the university as traditions and not as a bullying thing. So maybe the authorities on these days are trying to eliminate those traditions, and for the students of second year or third year or higher, those are like traditions that I identify them like a Zamorano student, but now the authorities, they think that that's like a ridiculous idea, so they want to eliminate those traditions, and they say that that's bullying, and on these days it exists a law or rules that says that bullying is illegal, and so that's making the entire university to stop practicing all those traditions because they are seen on these days as bullying. So for a lot of students that's not fair because they can relate with the new students anymore because any action we do could be confused, as our partner says, could be confused with bullying, and we can receive a lot of calls because of doing that. So I think for students it's hard to accept those decisions, and for the authorities it's difficult to make them do.
Okay, that's important. Well, what do you think some other rules that you think that have no importance here in Zamorano or have no significantly so do you think that it not required a punishment when you did it? What rules do you think that are those?
I think like a stupid rule is like
Don't step the grass.
yes, like stepping the grass. You get a fall because of stepping the grass. I think that it's something really, really, really stupid and something like studying after 11 at night. I think that if you are doing something like you will help in your classes, I think that would be great too.
I think that the rule about don't step the grass, it is stupid, but for the part that if we walking on grass, the grass can be turned yellow and ugly, I don't know. And that's because we don't step the grass, that's why the grass was green and beautiful.
So they look for the presentation of Zamorano. Okay.
I think that it's not stupid as she said, but it will be important to have the custom of us to not like to step on the grass, because that show you how to be careful of these things that show that Zamorano students are friendly with the environment, and that is important for us to care about these things and not to be a rule for us and to be punished about it.
So do you think that it should be not a punishment, just a recommendation to make
I think she means that we should do, we shouldn't step on the grass, only because if we do, we are getting punished because of that. And she says that we should not step in the grass only because that's the right thing to do. So not because we are getting punished, but just for the reason that is the correct
Okay.
thing to do.
a part of that rule? Which other rule do you think that it should be non-important? Do you think that the rule that you don't so do you think that you are free to use the clothes that you want in your residence?
I think that this rule isn't necessary, because if we have problems to study and need more time, we can use those hours to study because we need it. And I think that it's in some case help us to have relationship with enough hours to sleep, because if we don't have this rule, we will be wait in those hours doing things that isn't necessary. But I think people that need to study and really need those hours to study, I think we need to study in this hour.
Okay. Well, in general, what do you think if we change all the rules that we are talking about and make a new regulation of Zamorano? Do you think that all the students of Zamorano are going to adapt their life to those regulations?
I don't think so.
Maybe not, because they are used to follow that rules.
And you make like a routine? And any other opinion about it?
I just, yes, because some of us have been living like this for many years. I mean, like me, that I'm in third year.
Conditions.
Because we have to change. We will have to change. We will have to change something that we have already adapted to. So it's really difficult.
I think that rules in any place are necessary because it is a form to live and help to the other people have a good convivence. And some rules are necessary, but I think that if we live here and we study here, we need to take care about it and follow the rules.
Well, more general, they think that the non-important rules or the important rule make an important impact in our life, make values and help us for the future.
Yeah, I think all the rules we have in Zamorano help all the students to learn how we should behave when we already graduate from the university and be a great professional in everyone's work, and behave in the correct way, because we already learned that we have to do the right things, and because here at least we here learn all the rules because we get punished, but at the end we are out of here and we are not getting faults or anything because we step on the grass or because we got late in class, or we have bad grades. So at the end, that's not the thing that is important. The important thing is to complete all our activities in the best way we can and take care of the environment and do it because we know that's the right thing to do and not because we are getting a punishment.
Okay.
I think that all the rules that are in here are necessary or not help us to create awareness about the consequences that of our acts, and so just we have to these rules learn help us to learn to do the right things, so in this way we are not punished.
Well, in conclusion, we can say that all the rules, important rules, maybe in the future are going to help us. Maybe rule don't step the grass is going to give us the level of knowledge about what the presentation of something represents for the university, or something like don't sleep don't study after 11:30. Maybe they want for us to have the 8 hours or 7 hours of sleep, but at the end it's important. Well, about this topic is important organization for make hours of studies, but about all those topics of Zamorano, and also comparing with the surveys that we did, I think that all the students from Zamorano are going to adapt to new regulations with those new rules, because as they say, we have a routine, we are adapted, and it's a tradition for us. Well, I think that this is all the roundtable. Thank you for your opinions and your way of acting in this. presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are going to talk about a topic that is important here in Zamorano, that is the rules or the regulation that Zamorano put to the students to make a control, or maybe some that are very important and others that don't. So here we are students from different years, from first, second, yes, second and third year, and we are going to discuss this topic that is very important for us and for all the student society here in Zamorano. Well, one important thing here is what do you think about the importance of rules? Do you think that all the rules that we have here in Zamorano are very important, or some are less important than others, and why?
Okay, I think that in Zamorano there is some rules that are not important. For example, the rules of study 2 hours every day. I think that we should be study more time because some classes is necessary.
Yes, and we enter in that topic is when the hour of study and the hours of sleep. Well, do you consider that it's okay to sleep 8 hours or 7 hours? That is the estimated for people, or?
Okay, in my opinion, I think that sleep 6 hours is enough for me, but this depends on the people. But for example, with the style of the life that we have here is, I think that is enough.
Do you think that it's difficult to get that 6 hours, or sometimes you study more than?
No, I think that is not difficult.
Well, is any other people that can talk about that topic, that maybe they face that situation that you study like 3 a.m. and you sleep like 4 or 3 hours?
I think that that's not a good idea to sleep just 4 or 5 hours, because we are tired and we can work, because we are not with all the energies to develop the correct assignments.
Okay.
Well, I agree with all these statements, but sometimes you need to have less hours of sleep, because sometimes you have to study more, and that's not you have a limited hour to study here, but that should not be in the rules, because time here is too limited, and you need more time to study. So in that between classes and work, you don't have that much time to organize yourself and do the tasks that you have to do in the whole day.
Yes, and that's that's an important point, that some people say a thing and others that say their thing. It depends on the organization of everyone. Other question is about the check your name at 10 p.m. to continue studying until 11:30. Do you think that it's important to go and mark in the paper in your name to continue studying, or?
Well, in my point of view, that's not important, because sometimes you're very concentrated studying, and that gets you out of concentration, and that can affect you.
Any other opinion about it?
Well, for me, in the case of the
Zamorano's rules is just like a little bit injustice because about that about cleaning our own stuff because sometimes just because a little spider web in some little corner we get some punishments and it's not like it's not like fair because it's something that easily you can grab over there and put it on the garbage and it doesn't need some faults for that.
I think that's an important point. Another thing that made you think different or another point of view. Well, that's okay. Now the other question about the Zamorano rules is a question that have a very high impact, and that's bullying. Do you think that Zamorano is being very restricted with those rules with first, second, third, and fourth year that were that some situations required that rules or don't? Or do you think that it has an influence in Zamorano students' life?
I think that bullying is part, the convivence here in Zamorano is one thing that help us to have a relationship with the other people that are in first, second, and another years. And I think that in Zamorano are confusing the meaning of bullying. And for example, today we can talk normally with one person of first year because they think that we are talking and say something that they think is dangerous for your integration or something like that. And it's depend of the inspector that see that because some people can see that it is normal. It are two people that are talking like friends, but another people think that we are do some abuse in other people and think that is bullying. And I think that this is a problem that we have here in Zamorano.
I think the rules are necessary, but because if we do not have rules, probably we will do what we want, and that's not the point. But I think the important thing is that they should be more. They should be more. They should be more pleasant with the students in order to teach them how to do the things and not to put up a punishment.
Okay. I somehow agree and disagree with both points of view of you. Because in one part, some people here in Zamorano have, because of the history of Zamorano along the years, people have like in their head, and the meaning of Zamorano like too much, and like they come here and the only one like be here to bully and make people feel bad or like feel power, I think. But another point of view, and this affects the students and all the students, because like we are affecting the integration between people from second, third year, or fourth year with people from first year, and like also like for the people who bully, and sometimes they can affect the psychology of a student.
Well, that's an important point because not well. Sometimes they say we are friends, we are not making something bad, but maybe from the other side of the first year student, they're feeling bad, and that's what other years don't see. But do you think that it's another method to avoid this problem, not just using those so stricted rules?
Well, for me, in the case, they have to make a duty at Zamorano because they can say that bully is free for everyone because that will make a bad case for them. But sometimes the case of going to the extreme of making the punishment or canceling the weekend of the responsible of colonies, it's like so unfair because they didn't do anything, but they're making them responsible for what someone else do. That's like very strict in the way about the rules. That's not something good about being strict. But I think that somehow if some people doesn't get like overexcited with the bullying because something happens, the rules can diminish. They can be more flexible. Only in that case is for me okay.
Any other opinion? Or do you think that what he said is okay? Or so maybe people have different ways of think, and we should have to respect them, and maybe the rules that they're putting to Zamorano are very restricted, but maybe they want an improvement, but not by the good ways, but by the stricter way.
I think that it's difficult to find a solution to control all the people that live here because in always we have some cases that people cross the line and don't think very well what are they doing, and if I think that this case that the authorities use to cancel weekends to the leaders of each colony, it was bad because they don't be responsible the things that other people do it in some time that affect all the colonies. And I think that the way that we can help is avoid have more the method that the authorities use do that we need to avoid the convivence with the first years because we don't have problems in the future with faults or another thing that can affect the state here in Zamorano because we are here because we want to graduate and be a professional, not to have problems in the process.
Okay, well, leaving this topic, and we are going to make a conclusion about it. But the importance of some rules. What rules do you think that have no importance or are very like you don't understand the meaning of those rules and you think that are unnecessary?
One of the rules that I think that is unnecessary is the one of having birth because I don't see where having birth affects our development in work or studies.
Another rule that I think that is unnecessary is wash your clothes or dry your clothes on silent hours, because sometimes the groups that are studying on the living on the residence make more noise that the wash machine. And
I think that you're right because these hours, the 7 and 8, no, 9, sorry, that's hours you are in your residence and you have time, and another other part of the day you are very busy and you don't have time to wash your clothes.
Another rule that I think that is necessary is don't step on the grass, because it's part of the aesthetic or the view that the other people see in Zamorano. If we step the grass, we are damage the grass and cause a bad impression to the visitors or other people that can visit here.
Okay. Any other rule that you consider?
I think that a rule that is not necessary is, for example, you should use uniform and places around your residence. Because, for example, when you are in your residence or in places, you want to use all clothes, and and for example, since this year you can do it.
Yes, and that's a question that we made in the survey, that it is important or is necessary to make a rule for this topic to use. If you like to use the clothes that you want in your residence, you can use it, but sometimes they put this rule and it's very strict that you are used in the area of the residence, and you maybe the story is in the other residence, like 1 or 3 steps of your residence, but you have to use the uniform. And what do you think that is influenced by this rule in students? Do you think that this rule influencing the students, they are okay or disagree with this?
I think that they are disagree, and because when they want to go to the shop, or they only want to cross the street, and they have a fault because they don't have the uniform, but it is ridiculous.
I think that we need to wear the uniform when we go to class, to work, to another place that is out of our area of residence. But in the residence, I think that we can wear the other clothes that we are comfort, because in this area we can study with other people, and we don't have. We need to use the uniform to be in our rooms or our residence, because it's necessary. We are comfort and we can study normally with problems, and it's part of our presentation because we are in the residence and we need to present to other people all the things that isn't important. But in another place, yes, of course we need to wear the uniform because it's part of our presentation like student.
Well, we conclude that we should have the uniform using special cases like go to class and go to work, but not in the resident because it not have sense because in the resident we feel comfort with do what we want and just using the uniform because it's a rule. And it's okay what you think. Any other rule that you consider that is necessary?
Another rule that is unnecessary to me is using long hair. Having long hair. It's really unnecessary because it doesn't bother anyone.
Also, what do you think about the gender? If female can use long hair, why boys can use the long hair?
I think that it's part of the equal of genders because in part boys need to have a short hair because part of your presentation. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, we don't have time to raise your hair, brush your hair, and we show a bad aspect of us. But in some cases, I don't think that we need to use a reglementary short because we can cut our hair like we want, like we feel good with ourselves, and it doesn't affect a lot of people.
Well, I think that all those topics about the necessary rules, bullying, the clothes, and the hours of sleep are very important in our life. Also, are many rules that we don't discuss here in this round table, but I think I think that all of us think that Zamorano should have to change all those restrictive rules, making more not so comfortable, but maybe not so restricted between maybe a balance between both sides. And every student here in Zamorano start with nothing what they think they make give them the rules that they are going to follow at 12 years and that start the Zamorano life. Do you think that when you begin they give you rules and everything and nowadays you are maybe some in third year others in second year and third year, do you think that it's making some values in your life?
I think that when we start studying here, it's hard to adapt us to the rules because we think all the time we can do this, we can't do this, and we need to think a lot of time in this. But these rules in the future we will use because it's part of the all the time we need to live this. We need to respect the rules. In one company, when we work here, we need to respect some times that we need to start to work. When we leave the work, we need to be in time. We need to be responsible, and those things, Zamorano help us to to be efficient and have a good development in this case.
So I think that this is all the round table, and I hear many opinions, and that's all. Thank you for your assistance and everything.